The kettle is still warm on the stove, and I am standing at my kitchen window, watching the light come in sideways, the way it does in the early morning, and I have half a lemon in one hand and a small dish of something in the other, and I am doing the thing I have done nearly every morning for longer than some of you have been grandmothers. 3 minutes. That is all it takes. And before I tell you what it is, I want you to notice something. Nobody sold me this. There is no jar, no subscription, no little box that shows up at my door every month with a bill I forgot I agreed to. My name is Rachel. I am 64 years old, and I have spent most of my life learning what women knew before there was an industry standing between us and our own skin. My grandmother knew these things. Her mother knew them. And somewhere along the way, between the department store counter and the doctor's office with the glossy brochures, we stopped passing them down. So I pass them down now. That is the whole reason I sit here and talk to you. By the end of these few minutes together, you are going to know a 3-minute morning routine. Real ingredients, real amounts, real costs, things that are probably in your kitchen right now, and you are going to understand why it works, which matters more than the routine itself. And here is the part that should make you a little bit angry, because it makes me angry. And I have had years to get used to it. There is a whole industry built on the idea that your skin is a problem that requires their permission and their money to fix. $300 creams, a needle full of something that freezes the muscles in your face, fillers, a serum that shows up every month whether you needed it or not. And I want to be careful here, because I am not telling you there is a villain in a boardroom somewhere hiding the truth from you and cackling about it. It is simpler than that, and honestly, it is almost worse. There is no money in a lemon. There is no money in a spoonful of honey you already own. Nobody can build a company on an ingredient sitting in your cupboard, so nobody advertises it, so nobody makes a shiny video about it, and the knowledge just goes quiet. It doesn't get hidden, it gets forgotten, because forgetting is more profitable than remembering. So let me start by taking something away from you, because that is how you will know I am telling you the truth. That jar of collagen cream on your shelf, the one that costs more than your groceries, cannot put collagen back into your face. It simply cannot. The collagen molecule is far too large to pass through the surface of your skin. It sits on top. It feels lovely, and it washes off in the sink. When someone sells you collagen in a jar to rebuild the collagen in your face, they are selling you a molecule that cannot get in the door. Now, that does not mean nothing helps. Plenty helps. But the help is real and specific, and it is not the fairy tale on the label. Here is what actually happens to skin as we age, told plainly. As the years go by, your skin makes less oil and holds less water, so it gets thin and dry skin is what shows every line the most. Underneath, the scaffolding, the collagen and the stretch, loosens and slows down, and on the very surface, dead cells pile up and sit there longer than they used to, so your face looks dull and rough, and the fine lines look deeper than they truly are. That last one matters, because that surface layer is the part you actually have real power over from the outside. They have a word for lifting away those old cells, they call it exfoliation, but you don't need the word. You need to know that a great deal of what we call wrinkly, tired skin is dryness and dead surface cells throwing shadows, and that part responds, and it responds fast. So here's the 3-minute fix, and then I will walk you through every piece of it so you understand what you're doing and not just parroting me. The first thing is honey. Raw honey if you can get it. A jar is a few dollars, and it lasts for months. You take about a teaspoon and you warm it just slightly between your fingers, and you press it gently over clean, dry skin, and you leave it while you do the next thing. Honey is what we call humectant. It pulls moisture toward your skin and holds it there. And it has been used on skin for thousands of years, long before anyone thought to bottle it and mark it up 40 times. Cleopatra is the story everyone tells. But I care more about the ordinary women, the ones in the old country, who never had a doctor and had beautiful hands into their 80s. They used what the bees gave them. The second thing is a little bit of plain yogurt. Full fat, unsweetened, a teaspoon is plenty. Now here is where I have to be honest with you the way I promised. Yogurt has a mild natural acid in it, lactic acid, and that acid very gently loosens the glue holding those old dead cells on the surface. Gently. This is not a peel. This is not something stinging your face off. It is the soft, slow lift that your grandmother got from buttermilk. which is the exact same thing our great-grandmothers used because it was what they had after churning. You mix your teaspoon of yogurt in with the honey, and you leave that on your face for the rest of your 3 minutes. Call it 2-3 minutes, no more when you're starting. And then you rinse it with lukewarm water and pat dry. That is the whole thing. Honey and yogurt, a few cents a morning. Now the third piece is the one I went back and forth about including because the industry would truly rather I left it out, and because it comes with a warning I need you to actually hear. A few drops of fresh lemon, once or twice a week, only in the evening, never in the morning. Lemon has a natural acid and a little vitamin C, and over weeks it can help even out your tone and soften the look of those brown spots on your hands and cheeks, the ones we got from years of sun. Notice what I said. It helps even your tone and fades the look of the spots. I did not say it bleaches your skin, and I never will, because that is not what it does, and it is not a healthy way to think about your own face. And here is the warning, and please, if you remember one thing today, remember this. Citrus on your skin plus sunlight is a burn waiting to happen. Lemon makes your skin drink up the sun. So lemon goes on at night, gets rinsed off, and you wear your sun protection the next day regardless. Citrus and sun, never together, ever. And before any of these touch your face for real, you patch test. A dab on the inside of your arm, wait a day, make sure your skin is happy. Every skin is different, and mine is not yours. Let me give you a few more tools because a routine is only as good as the small things around it. A humble one. Cool water and warm water do different jobs, and most women use only hot. Hot water strips the little bit of oil your older skin worked hard to make. Wash with lukewarm and finish with a splash of cool. Free. Costs you nothing but the habit. Another. A teaspoon of oatmeal, the plain kind. Ground up fine and stirred into your honey when your skin feels irritated or itchy. Oats calm redness. The old country knew this. They bathed babies in it. And for thin, reactive senior skin, that calm is worth more than any fancy anti-aging promise. Another one people never think of, your pillowcase. Cotton drags on your skin all night and creases it. A smoother pillowcase and sleeping on your back when you can does more for the lines on your cheek than a great many creams do. That is not a remedy you buy. That is just knowing how skin works, and the one that outperforms nearly everything on that department store counter, a plain, thick moisturizer sealed in over slightly damp skin. Not damp bone dry, not on a soaking face, padded so it's just a little moist, and then your moisturizer on top to trap the water in. Even a few dollars of plain cream used this way will do more than a $50 jar used the wrong way. The trick was never the jar. The trick was the water and the timing. Now let me sit with the questions I know some of you are asking because you are sensible women and you should ask them. Does this really work? Or is it just a nice old lady's story? It works on the part it can work on. The dryness, the dullness, the rough surface, the look of the fine lines and the spots. It will not lift a sagging jaw, and I would never tell you it does. Anyone who promises you that a kitchen remedy does the work of a surgeon is lying to you, and I won't join them. Isn't natural just slower? Yes. And I want you to make peace with that, because slower is the honest word, and overnight is the salesman's word. You will feel the softness and the moisture in a few days. The tone and the spots take weeks of patience. Skin is a living thing on a slow clock, and anything that changes it in an instant is usually doing something to it you don't want done. What about my dermatologist? Keep her. I mean that. If you have a spot that changes, that bleeds, that grows, that is a doctor's job, not a honey jar's, and none of what I say is a treatment for any condition. A good doctor and a wise kitchen are not enemies. What I am against is not medicine. What I am against is being sold fear and a monthly bill for skin that was never broken to begin with. And is it safe? It is, when you respect it. Patch test. Keep citrus away from sun. Stay gentle. More is not better, and scrubbing harder does not help older skin. It thins it. Everything topical, nothing you'd swallow that isn't already food. Let me pull back for a moment because this was never really only about wrinkles. Somewhere in the last handful of decades we were taught that an older woman's face is a problem to be corrected, and that correcting it should cost money forever. And the strange thing is, the women who came before us didn't believe that. They looked in a cloudy little mirror by candlelight, and they tended their skin the way they tended their gardens, plainly, cheaply, without shame, with what was on hand. They did not think their faces were emergencies. There is a quiet dignity in that I would like us to take back. When people ask me what I use, I tell them the truth, and they never quite believe it's so simple. That, to me, says everything about how far we drifted. So here is your routine, clean and simple. In the morning, cleanse with lukewarm water. Warm a teaspoon of honey and a teaspoon of full-fat plain yogurt together. Wear it 2 to 3 minutes. Rinse cool, pat dry, and seal with a plain moisturizer on slightly damp skin. That is your 3 minutes. Once or twice a week, in the evening only, a few drops of fresh lemon to even your tone and soften the spots. Rinsed off, patch tested first, and never ever followed by sun without protection. Total cost, a few dollars for a month. Not a subscription, not a needle, not a jar with a price tag designed to make you feel it must be working. Now I want to hear from you because I read every single comment. I truly do. I sit with my tea and I go through them. Tell me this. What did your mother or your grandmother use on her skin? The thing she never explained and never bought in a store? Leave it below. Those little memories in the comments are how we put the knowledge back together, piece by piece. And next time I am going to tell you about the one thing in your kitchen, one ordinary thing, sitting right by your stove, that I believe is doing quiet harm to older skin, that nearly everyone uses every single day without a second thought. I almost don't want to name it before I can explain it properly, so come back and I will. Until then, be gentle with yourself and with that face of yours. Because the women who came before us knew things about their own skin that we are only just beginning to remember.